Hey y'all, I'm Morgan Young, and this is Long Story Shorts, where we are getting into all of the headlines taking over your social media feeds. In today's episode, we are giving you a closer look at a new state park, and we're introducing you to a runner who is sure to inspire you. But first, Adriana de Alba has some problems that we're paying attention to just days before Election Day.
Okay, so Election Day is almost here, and Tarrant County is short 20 judges and 200 clerks for the March primary. In Texas primaries, the political parties staff polling locations, providing judges for each polling site. Elections Administrator Clint Ludwig told me today that his office is stepping in to help recruit and fill those gaps. Every polling place needs judges from both parties, plus clerks to check in voters and handle ballots. So if those spots aren't filled, Ludwig says some of those locations may not be able to open on Election Day, and Ludwig calls that the worst case scenario. He says the goal is to be able to staff all 199 polling locations across Tarrant County on Election Day next Tuesday. If you want to help as a poll worker, trainings are still happening this Friday and Saturday. It is paid. Just call the Tarrant County Elections Administration office. They need people, and fast.
Do you guys remember this crazy video from a little less than a year ago? A car is flying on North Tyler Street. It hits the roundabout and goes airborne, crashing into some townhomes on the other side of the street. Those townhomes actually look pretty good. And here is the roundabout in question. As you can see, this is now a construction site. These wooden panels here are actually forms. They're essentially molds, and crews will fill all this in with concrete, creating a raised barrier and hopefully preventing such an incident from happening again. Now, there aren't a whole lot of these roundabouts in Dallas, although they're very common in Europe and even in some other cities in the Metroplex. Denton, for instance, has introduced a number of them. And Council Member Chad West, who represents District 1, this area, says in spite of that crazy video and that crash, he remains an advocate for this kind of infrastructure. He and many others believe that it can actually help to calm traffic, slow it down, and improve efficiency. But what do you think? Are you one of those folks that actually likes a roundabout? Do you know how to drive around one? Or do you feel like they just don't work?
We are inside the passenger terminal here at McKinney National Airport, TKI. They're doing a tour for everybody in the city as well as the media, just to get an idea of what this is going to look like. Obviously, not all the walls are up. It's still very bare, but what we've learned is it's 47,000 square feet. And the person who's organizing this tour, someone with the construction group, says it's probably the most efficient 47,000 square feet of airport you will ever find anywhere across the country. In talking with the airport executives as well as Avelo, they're really excited about the ease of access from parking your car and coming inside the airport to being able to get onto your plane. It is a very short distance. So we're hearing that there's going to be an opportunity for 2 murals inside McKinney TKI's commercial part of this airport, which sort of establishes the local connection to the area.
You might remember in 2024, voters voted for Proposition U and F. They called for Dallas to maintain 4,000 officers and support public safety facilities, including a new DPD training center. But delays are causing law enforcement organizations to speak up. They say the current DPD training facility is outdated, overcrowded, and inadequate, impacting recruitment. For example, Dallas Police Women's Association say there isn't enough showers and no lactation rooms for women. Now, funding is an issue as the city is short over $88 million for the new training facility at UNT Dallas. There are other projects the city has to consider, like street repairs and issues with City Hall. And many are just hoping that the new facility project doesn't take a back seat.
We need officers who could speak different languages, who understand the culture, and who can build a trust across the generations. But recruitment without infrastructure is an empty promise.
And City Manager Kim Tolbert said they might explore another safety bond program, which could take more time. The new training facility at UNT Dallas is expected to be completed in summer of 2028.
Hey, how you doing today? The Nuisance Enforcement Task Force is making its rounds, inspecting and documenting city code violations at 4 Fort Worth properties.
So these are properties that we've been dealing with for years.
Sandy Oaks Apartments, the Eco Motel, and 2 convenience stores on Hemp Hill.
I mean, we've been here 35 years and it's been like that a long time.
Loitering, homeless camps, and even alleged drug deals in the parking lot. Monica Sanesteban says keeping her family-owned business in business is tough with what she says goes on next door.
We've told people to leave. We've had to call the police numerous times.
Fort Worth Police Nuisance Abatement Officer Gentry Cotton says it's a constant drain on resources.
These are hand-to-hand transactions, that are happening for hours on end on these properties, and no one's doing it about them.
It's why the city has a new game plan.
Between all of the properties, code enforcement found more than 1,000 violations. They plan on coming back out to these properties every 2 weeks to check for compliance, code violations, and even issue citations.
They've issued 18 citations to the Eco Motel, saying things are not moving fast enough.
Most residents would gladly deal with a vacant building that have some violations than active prostitution, drugs, everything else that are at a lot of these properties.
Code Compliance Director Brian Doherty.
The main thing that we're looking for is we want compliance. And we haven't got it in the past with our methods, so that's why this is more concentrated.
Sandy Oaks says it's working to get into compliance. The other properties wouldn't comment. Sanesteban says she hopes it's enough.
People just don't want to come.
To bring their customers back.
There's no guarantee that this is fixing everything, but we have to try something different.
In Fort Worth, I'm Brittany Costello.
After years of delay and, for that matter, decades of distrust, Parking Lot 10 here at Fair Park will become a community park, something residents of South Dallas have been fighting for, both with their future and their ancestors in mind. Back in the 1960s and 70s, there were homes here. Dallas used eminent domain to tear down those houses to make way for parking lots. And for the last decade, there's been a push to turn at least one of these parking lots into a community park. Something to bring back fresh air, open space, and community pride. Wednesday, the Dallas City Council voted to move forward, striking an agreement with the group Fair Park First. And 90% of the $40 million needed has already been raised through state, federal, and private sources.
I'm grateful to the community leaders and elected officials who stepped up and said, this is our responsibility, who championed this project not because it was politically convenient, but because it was morally necessary.
Now, today, I get to see at least something that could possibly elevate the community that I live in.
There is no definite timetable for construction of the 10-acre park. Organizers, however, say they hope to raise the final 10% of the funding they need in the next 6 months.
North Texas is known for its traditions.
And you can't have sports without a wing.
And now Frisco is adding one to its menu.
Anchor Bar is a staple from Buffalo, New York. They are the originator of the Buffalo Wings.
You heard that right. Frisco's newest restaurant, where you can taste the original recipe. And General Manager David Loatman says it all started back in Buffalo, New York in 1964. And now that history has landed here in North Texas.
Just drop some for him, please.
And this is the first bucket in North Texas.
It's where the magic happens. Everything's been word to mouth. Location and word to mouth.
And speaking of location, it's almost as special as the sauce. Michelle Buckles says they picked this spot for its promising future.
It's right across the soccer center over there, and it's just in a perfect location.
You see, just down Main Street, the city wrapped up a part of a nearly $70 million redevelopment project, widening the roads and improving sidewalks and making the area more walkable. And with FIFA events bringing even more international visitors to North Texas, the timing couldn't be better.
I love people learning more about the Anchor Bar, and I think this is such a great location for that opportunity.
Because when customers bite into a wing, you're not just getting a meal.
The East Coast food is one of the best.
It's a piece of American food history. Now in the heart of Frisco. In Frisco, I'm Richard Solomon.
Okay, so spring storm season is right around the corner. Let's review some of the products you might see. And no doubt you've probably seen some of these too. Let's start with your severe weather outlooks. Now, these are issued days in advance and leading up to and including the day of an event from the Storm Prediction Center. And these are based off of intensities and coverage. So it goes from levels 1 through 5, okay? And so it starts at a marginal risk, that's level 1. That may mean a few severe storms are possible in the highlighted area. Then there's level 2, the slight risk. For a slight risk, we would typically expect, yes, you're gonna have some strong to severe storms in the area. For the enhanced risk, the level 3, that was meant, that nomenclature, to be an enhanced slight risk. So it's still level 3, just go by the numbers here. And that would be for widespread severe weather. A moderate risk, the penultimate, it's going to be a pretty busy day. And oftentimes, if things intensify, a moderate will be upgraded to a high risk, which is the rarest of days, the level 5. And that's usually reserved for outbreaks, severe thunderstorm and tornado outbreaks. Now let's move towards the day of an event. On the day of an event, you're probably acquainted with severe thunderstorm and tornado watches. We get several a year. But what you may not know is anywhere from an hour to a few hours before that's issued, there will be what's called a discussion, a convective discussion. And that's where the Storm Prediction Center and Weather Service offices coordinate if a watch is needed. And if so, where is it going to be? What counties? How do we draw this watch? How long? And so that then brings your severe thunderstorm and tornado watches. We typically have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen a little bit ahead of time. And then on the rarest of days, there's something called a PDS tornado or PDS severe thunderstorm watch. All that means is particularly dangerous situation. Those are, again, the rarest of days, outbreaks where you can have violent long track tornadoes or particularly violent hail or large damaging winds in significant thunderstorms. So hopefully we don't see any of those this spring, but just getting you acquainted with some of the products that you will likely see over the next several months.
This next story is about grit and determination. The woman we're about to introduce you to has run more than 100 marathons, but she says this next run is not about medals at all. Here's Arnold Payne.
For years, Rhonda Foles ran toward milestones.
Joy, happiness.
A first marathon.
And it was White Rock in 2011. Couldn't believe I did it, but I thought I never wanted to do it again.
Now she's running toward something else. Diagnosed with Parkinson's at 34, Rhonda lost her mobility.
I literally could barely walk from the couch to the kitchen.
Deep brain stimulation gave her motion back. Running restored her joy.
Fighting for what feels good is the best thing that you can do for yourself.
By 2020, she had completed 100 marathons.
Looking back on it all, it's been extraordinary.
Started to cry. It was a very emotional day.
You did it! You did it!
In October of 2024, a routine exam simply meant to check Rhonda's implanted brain stimulator took a sudden and life-altering turn. Doctors had a new discovery.
Yes.
What was that?
Ovarian cancer and lung cancer. I was depressed and anxious about it.
Sure.
And then I thought, you know, why not try to fight it?
But the diagnosis came with devastating progression.
I have tumors on my liver and I have one on my sternum. So that means basically that it's gone to the bone. I don't want to die. I just want to, I want to keep running as long as I possibly can. I like the old farm equipment. As you think about all the history and how long things have lasted, you know, it's amazing.
Even in the worst moments, perspective is still a choice.
You can always look for the bad, but it's so much better if you look for the good, and regardless of what life is like, you know. That's why I'm glad right now I have the training plan for Boston, because I know what I have to do every day.
Chemo ends training plans, so Rhonda made a decision to stop.
I'm not saying I'll give up chemo forever, just for now, because I want to run Boston.
She's not chasing a number nor a time. She's simply choosing how to spend
in Wyoming
her time.
I want to do the jump where you jump off the cliffs.
Training already comes at a cost, but this time, the cost is different.
I had half of my left lung removed in December of 2024.
Rhonda will run Boston with one lung.
It's tough.
The other loss to the cancer battle.
This has been the hardest thing of anything that I have been through, but I am going to do it.
Marathons measure distance in miles. Illness measures life in moments. Rhonda stopped counting both.
I mean, we're all going to go one day, you know. I'm not afraid to die. I just don't want to be in terrible pain.
This race, most people believe the hardest part of a marathon is the finish. Rhonda learned it's the start. The moment you decide to go.
Never give up.
Even knowing the cost.
Just keeping the faith, you know, that everything is going to be good. And
in Dallas, I'm Arnold Payne.
Now to some stories we know you're all talking about. There's a new Bluebell flavor and a new state park to talk to you about. But first, Cynthia Iseguera is explaining how one legendary band is throwing a wrench in some prom plans for North Texas High School.
Battle of the Eagles. Get this, the Eaton High School Eagles have been grounded, bumped from their prom at Globe Life Field after Don Henley and the Eagles swooped in and claimed the stage. The newly announced Eagles concert at Globe Life Field this May has apparently stolen the high school's prom night in Northwest ISD. In a letter from Eaton High School principal Stacy Miles to high school seniors, Miles says their prom contract with Globe Life Field, which was signed last year, was being disregarded and canceled due to the world-famous band's concert booking. Miles went on to say that she and other school officials were disappointed in the company's response and disappointed to have to deliver the news. On the school's campus calendar, the prom is scheduled for May 16th, the same night as the booked Eagles concert at Globe Life Field. It also lists the Hearst Conference Center from 7 to 10 p.m. as the new location for the school prom. Live Nation is the promoter for the Eagles concert. WFAA has reached out to Globe Life Field and Live Nation for comment, but we have not heard back.
You might have seen this story on the news. A young man was getting billed by the North Texas Tollway Authority, or NTTA, for a car he no longer owns. The charges were up to $3,200. We were able to get some answers for him. NTTA did some research, and they say he is no longer going to be held responsible for the charges that were racked up after he sold the car. But here's some important information if you are ever going to sell a car in Texas. Fill this out, the Texas Motor Vehicle Transfer Notification. This is really critical for NTTA. You also need to remove and deactivate your toll tag. You can remove your license plate too. You just really have to check NTTA's website and the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles to make sure that every box is checked to avoid any surprises.
State Farm confirms that they offer an endorsement on Texas homeowners policies where if they have to replace your roof due to a claim, they will pay the additional costs for material, labor, and inspection fees to upgrade your roof to make it an IBHS fortified roof at the gold level. They say that includes extra weather strengthening measures and those more expensive and more resilient impact-resistant shingles. Again, this is an endorsement on the policy, and endorsements are additional coverage that add protection, but usually also add to the premium you pay. State Farm says this fortified endorsement would generally add at least 14% to your basic premium for hurricane coverage within the policy and an additional 10% to your premium for all other covered perils. So yeah, it's more expensive, But State Farm says if you have a claim and they pay to replace your old roof with a new, stronger one, they then apply that stronger roof and those stronger shingles to your policy. Now, since the new topper on your house would be more resistant and less of a claims risk, State Farm can reduce your premium. By how much varies, but this was their example when I asked about this specific program, that your hurricane premium could plummet 33%. Your hail premium reduced by 28%, your wind premium dropping 25%. And in addition to that, they say the stronger Class 3 or Class 4 hail-resistant shingles on your roof would also qualify for further double-digit drops in premium for wind and hail peril.
If you're looking to lose weight, you'll want to hear this. A new, potentially more powerful drug could overtake the current ones, like Wegovy, Ozempic, and Zepbound. After the results of a recent mid-stage clinical trial, a lot of people are hailing retatrutide as the next big thing. Some people lost nearly 30% of their body weight within 18 months, to the point some of them dropped out of the study because they were losing too much weight. Retatrutide targets 3 receptors: appetite suppression, fat metabolism, and energy expenditure. It's also shown significant reduction in liver fat, up to 80% in higher doses. The side effects are similar to other GLP meds: nausea, vomiting, constipation. It's still in clinical trials right now, and there are questions about its long-term safety. But it's already got a street name, Retta, and some bodybuilders are getting it off-label through websites disguised as fitness coaching programs.
Some who have seen it say it looks like a half man, half goat. Others, who are a little more conservative, describe it a little differently.
Well, it was about 7 foot tall, weighed about 350 pounds, and it was hairy, and I couldn't see his face. It was in the dark, sir.
There's a report that it has scales, too. Did you notice that?
I was so scared I didn't see nothing like that.
This is the place near the Greer Island Wildlife Refuge where Harris allegedly saw the creature or monster or whatever you choose to call it.
It run through the edge of the cliff that was pretty rugged and had a lot of weeds and trees around it, and I couldn't see how no human could really get through there as fast as it could.
The skeptical say it's a man in a monkey suit, but some say it can't be, that no man is that big or that strong or could make so hideous a sound. At any rate, something happened out here last night, and so tonight there will be more people back, armed with cameras and probably with rifles. And this causes apprehension, particularly for police who say that, monster or no, if there are very many rifles here, somebody might get hurt.
Chris, are we going to talk about ice cream now?
We sure are. This is pretty big news for any of you ice cream lovers out there. Bluebell just announced it's rolling out a new flavor, and pints of honey vanilla will be in stores soon. Here's the thing, this flavor will only be available for a limited time. Bluebell also announced that it's bringing back its coffee and chocolate flavored Java Jolt.
A former 4,000-acre ranch is about to open as the first new state park in Texas in over 25 years. The Palo Pinto Mountain State Park will open Sunday, March 1st. They're going to do limited early access. You have to register online to get a day pass. It's located between Fort Worth and Abilene, just off I-20 near the town of Strawn. And this has been a park that's been in the works for over 15 years. The state purchased the ranch land back in 2011. There's obviously a lot of infrastructure that goes into taking a ranch property and turning it into an official state park. There were also construction delays. It was supposed to open in 2023, but that got pushed back to the spring of 2026. It's going to have 16 miles of trails. You can kind of see a sampling of the trail map here. There's also Tucker Lake in the middle of the park. There's not going to be any motorized boats allowed in the park, but there's going to be room for fishing, swimming, kayaking. Again, a soft opening Sunday, March 1st. They're going to plan a grand opening later in the spring, but they will have day passes available starting Sunday. This or that, Daybreak Edition, Matt Howerton, Dia Wall.
Okay.
DFW Airport or Love Field?
DFW, hands down.
Love Field, 100%. Easy
Okay.
drive for me.
Margaritas or beer?
Margarita, on the rocks.
It depends on the day, and it depends on if Lone Star is involved.
Boy,
Donuts or kolaches?
kolaches.
I'm gonna go with kolaches on this one. That's a good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Coke or Dr. Pepper?
Coke, Dr. Pepper is disgusting.
I like Dr. Pepper a lot. If I had to choose one, I'd probably go with Dr. Pepper.
It's Texan, and I love you. Don't come for me.
Texas Stadium or AT&T Stadium?
AT&T Stadium is fine. I just thought Texas Stadium at the trail end, or at the end of its tenure, got a little nasty. If you were there, I'm just saying. I think they needed a new stadium.
You were out of line. It will forever be Texas Stadium, which was in Irving, Texas, my hometown, and where the Cowboys won several Super Bowls.
True.
Keep it real.
Very true.
State Fair of Texas or Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo?
Stock Show and Rodeo, 100%.
I love the stock show and rodeo, but I gotta go with the State Fair. I love Big Tex.
You've been once, you've been a million times.
You cut it out.
That's literally
I have my special mug at home with Big Tex's face on it. I love when he says, "Howdy, folks." Get out of here.
Christmas lights before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving?
Before, because you gotta get on the calendar.
I like letting Thanksgiving have its day, and then put the tree up maybe the Saturday or Sunday after. That'd be that's kind of the good time to do it.
Here's the compromise.
I don't judge, but that's my thing.
You get them put up, you don't flip the switch until Black Friday.
Oh, that's a good idea. I like that.
Last one, Baylor or TCU?
TCU!
Let's go, Baptist. Let them dance. Let them dance, Baptist, okay?
That was a setup. That was a setup.
And finally, we hope you've tuned into Daybreak this week as we've debuted our new refresh. It has been so much fun. And as we leave you, we want to learn a little bit more about our anchors. Have a great weekend, y'all.